sure I'm not pronouncing that right, but yeah, he's talking in this book about the fact that we've spent most of our evolutionary history living in sort of tribal societies, wherein monogamy, as opposed to polygamy, is not really a thing. In tribal civilizations, there's not really any kind of like monogamous sexual politics, if you like. And what really happens is that everyone kind of uh, intermittently has sex with one another, and children are raised communally among sort of the female contingent of the tribes, who would sort of stay closer to the tribal communal base, if you like, and gather sort of fruits and vegetables and leafy green leaves that are edible in the local, in the vicinity of that base, whereas men would club together in sort of well, hunting parties and venture further away from the base to go and hunt. So that's kind of like the gender slash sex based division of labor within tribal societies. And he points out the rather salient fact, well, he makes the salient point that monogamy is a somewhat recent development in human civilizations. So, yeah, with the advent of agriculture, societies spread out over larger areas of land. Individual groups of people become smaller. Families nucleate or become nuclear as a result of that, since territories become held suddenly by, well, smaller numbers of people. And hence we have this modern conception of the family as opposed to the tribe. And I suspect our genetics haven't quite yet caught up to this fact of an agrarian civilization, and that we're hence, because I agree with Christopher Ryan's basic thesis in the book, and that this is why in monogamous relationships we remain attracted to other people. This is very often why we commit infidelity. We cheat for this reason. It's why marriage in the modern world, at least, seems to actually be really rather an ineffective means of keeping two people together and raising children. And depending on your social rank, I think it always has been. Well, not necessarily not keeping people together, but certainly for preventing infidelity. The richer the man is in a marriage, in historical terms anyway, with reference to history, the more likely he is to be unfaithful and to have a mistress, or what we now call like a side piece, possibly, which is a horrible term, of course. But I mean, yeah, it's meant in jest with reference to certain accusations pointed against men traditionally by feminists. But yeah, it's not the ideal, is it? I don't think, because I'm in love with someone at the moment who I hope is going to get in touch with me, since someone who knows her has got in touch with me already and said he'd contact me, and so on. And like an avenue of communication seems open on that level. But I mean, if we were in a relationship and she wanted to see other people, I wouldn't try and stop her, I don't think. I just want her in my life. I mean, it's it's not like a male or female thing either. It's not like men are naturally more promiscuous than women, or men want more partners than women. I just want like to have her as like, well, my girlfriend. Like a friend who's a girl who we sleep together. But if she ever wanted to sleep with someone else, I I I hope, yeah, like I hope she'd be understanding that I'd be perfectly open to that. I understand that that's part of our biology, or our psychobiology, or it's part of the biology of our psyches, and that's how our sex organs behave. And in terms of like the raising of children, I think it'd be a very nice thing to have sort of a group of people who we all trust to sort of communally raise children, because they'd be guaranteed friends, or enemies. But yeah, I mean, presumably, being raised around one another, they would yeah, they'd have like an automatic friend group. You know what I mean? Maybe we can even educate them and so on. I'd do like the whole homeschool thing. And like I could teach them physics and cosmology and philosophy and history, literature, and economics and politics and various other things. And yeah, and like I'm imagining it like on my farm and like where like tents, indoor growing operations, have brewing, have a still that the children must never go near because it could catch fire. Like tent structures, sofas in them. So need planning permission. Also growing something, so we add to the case for it by saying it's a, you know, it's an evenly divided purpose building between relaxation and agricultural production, or it's an agricultural building primarily. It was not even a building, strictly speaking, but it's an agricultural facility for its primary function, but it also has areas for relaxation. And there's like barbecue pits outside it and things like this. And yeah, make it all organic, etc. Get woofers in, make somewhere really nice for the woofers as well. You know, harvest them for free labor, slavery. Welcome, woofers, or welcome to your internships, or as I prefer to call it, slavery. It's not slavery, of course, because you're free to leave whenever you like. However, while you are here, your ass belongs to me. I've always wanted to say that to someone on an internship. But yeah, monogamy is overrated. I think it's actually a pretty good reason to avoid relationships because as we all know, most relationships fail. Like it's 1 in 3 marriages I think that ends in divorce. But obviously, not all relationships are marriages, and you know the average person will have like 1 or 2 or 3 relationships before getting married, all of which fail. No one really, I think, has more than 2 marriages, but it's such a clunky, like unsophisticated, frankly outdated system that I just don't think we need anymore. And I think we need to move to something more like a tribal synthesis or like a community of people who maybe, yeah, they are even bound by an agreement or something like a marriage agreement and not couples, but yeah, like a community of people. And it's like tribal, agrarian community living, more like a commune, basically. Um, and I think that could be very, very good. It could be good for lots of people to live like that. Be very warm and welcoming and inviting. And yeah, I think it could be a better system than just, you know, house in suburbia, nuclear family, never talking to your neighbours, like houses everywhere, like no countryside, unless you like Cranium Neck. Like, there's a bit of countryside visible with a gap in the buildings. No, fuck that shit.